The Midnight Coup hand cannon is currently available with the Destiny 2 Into the Light update. It's dropping from Onslaught. It is back and better than ever. It now has random rolls. So we're going to go over all the stats, all the perks, so you guys know what to look for when you guys get this to drop from the new Onslaught activity. So Guardians, let's go.
Yo, it's time to subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. What are you doing?
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous.
Subscribe to Paid to Be Famous. Like the video. Come on.
Hell
you know
yeah.
the drill.
Button.
And slap that like button.
Woo!
Hey.
Midnight Coup is a legendary kinetic hand cannon. It's an adaptive frame firing at 140 rounds per minute, so it's just like the Austringer, DFA, Fatebringer, the Rose or Spare Rations. And if we compare it to those hand cannons, you will see that it is lacking in the range and stability department, with Austringer having the highest base range at 46. Base range on Midnight Coup is only 40, but it does beat out all these other hand cannons in the handling, reload speed, airborne effectiveness, and it actually has the highest base aim assist out of all these hand cannons. It's sitting at a 90 aim assist. So all you really need to do is slap on a targeting adjuster mod and put some targeting mods on your helmet, and you're sitting at 100 aim assist with this hand cannon, which is really nice. Now let's take a look at the trait perks that come on this hand cannon. In the first column, you got Outlaw, Firefly, Shoot to Loot, Explosive Payload, Moving Target, Attrition Orbs, Enlightened Action. Outlaw and Enlightened Action are both going to give you a better reload. Enlightened Action actually is going to give you a better reload and better handling, and you only need to land hits to get a faster reload and better handling, whereas Outlaw, you need to get a precision kill. So if you're looking for a better reload perk, I would go with this Enlightened Action perk. You've also got Firefly on this bad boy. Precision kills with this weapon increase reload speed and cause the target to explode, dealing solar damage to nearby enemies. This is a nice perk to have, especially if you're a warlock. You can pair this with chromatic fire, synergize like that. It would be pretty nice. Then you've got Shoot to Loot. Shooting an orb of power picks it up, shooting an ammo brick picks it up, and automatically reloads all of your equipped weapons from reserves. This is a really good perk to have, especially in those endgame activities where you want to stay behind cover and you don't want to risk your life to run out in the middle of everything to pick up more ammo or an orb. So Shoot to Loot is something to consider. You also have Attrition Orbs. Dealing sustained damage creates an orb of power. If you have a build that heavily relies on you picking up orbs, this perk is something to consider. I find it very niche. I don't really use it that much, but it does come in handy and it does work. And picking up orbs of power grants you armor charge, and you can do a lot of useful things with those charges. Then we come down to the last two perks, Moving Target and Explosive Payload. These are going to be the two PvP perks. Moving Target states that it increases movement speed and target acquisition when moving while aiming down sights. This perk is always going to be active in all of your gunfights without needing to get a kill, so that is very nice. But then you also have Explosive Payload. Projectiles create an area of effect detonation on impact. So this splits the bullet into two, and one of those bullets is going to be explosive damage, and in PvP there is no damage drop off with that explosive damage number, so this essentially boosts your range even more. And in PvE, that projectile damage deals 30% increased damage. So honestly, in this first column, my number one pick for PvP and for PvE is Explosive Payload. This is going to be your best all-around bang for your buck perk here because of the extra damage in PvE and the extra range in PvP. I'm going to suggest you guys go with Explosive Payload in this column. Moving on to the last column, you've got Rampage, Kinetic Tremor, Zen Moment, One for All, Frenzy, Opening Shot, and Desperate Measures. Desperate Measures states that final blows grant bonus damage, melee and grenade blows grant a larger bonus that can stack. So essentially you get a weapon kill, you get one stack. And if you get a grenade or melee kill, you get 2 stacks. And this will stack up to 3 times, and each stack grants 10% damage. I've tried my hardest to like this perk, but essentially to me, it's just a worse version of Golden Tricorn. Golden Tricorn only has 2 stacks, and that second stack gives you a 50% increase in damage. Desperate Measures at maxed out stacks only gives you a 30% increase in damage. Bungie has said that the upside to Desperate Measures over Golden Tricorn is that the uptime on Desperate Measures is easier to obtain and hold, but honestly I would just rather use Golden Tricorn. But don't let me discourage you if you want to go with Desperate Measures. It is extra damage, it's just not a personal favorite of mine. Up next we got Opening Shot. Improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of an attack. This is going to grant you 20 aim assist and 25 range, but it only counts for the first shot, and then after not firing for about 3 seconds it'll reset and proc again. But the thing about Opening Shot on the Midnight Coup is yes, it could benefit from having the extra range, but it's only 1 bullet. And then the other benefit is it gives you 20 aim assist, but you already are sitting at 90 aim assist. So you're essentially only gaining 10 aim assist from this perk. So it really is wasted. Like I said earlier, with a targeting adjuster and targeting mods on your helmet, you're already at max. So half this perk is just a waste on this hand cannon, in my opinion. Up next, you got Frenzy. Being in combat for an extended time increases damage, handling, and reload on this weapon until you're out of combat. This is a really nice perk, especially in PvE. You get that 15% increase to damage. And in the Crucible, when you get Frenzy active, it actually lowers the amount of headshots. At base, this is doing a 0.87 time to kill in Crucible, requiring 3 crits. But if you get Frenzy active, you only need 2 crits in 1 body. So Frenzy does come in handy in the Crucible and in PvE. Up next, you've got a One for All. Hitting 3 separate targets increases damage for a moderate duration. This gives you a 35% increase to damage. A very hefty damage increase without requiring a kill, and you pair that with Explosive Payload. It's pretty easy to proc One for All in PvE. It'll be a bit harder in the Crucible, not impossible, but I would skip out on One for All for Crucible reasons. Up next, we got Kinetic Tremor. Sustain kinetic damage to a target. Emits a shockwave that damages any nearby targets. Kinetic Tremors is really good on this hand cannon because you can pair it with Shoot to Loot, and the Kinetic Tremors will pick up ammo or orbs that are around. You can also pair Kinetic Tremors with Explosive Payload. Both of these perks are going to give you extra damage. Moving on from there, we have Rampage. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage. It stacks 3 times. We've got a 10, a 21, and a 33% increase to damage when you're at max stacks. Rampage is nice, but I would probably go with Frenzy or One for All before I went with Rampage. And then last but not least, I gotta talk about Zen Moment. Causing damage to this weapon reduces recoil and flinch over time. This is gonna be my #1 pick for PvP. Later on this video, we're gonna jump into the Crucible, and all the footage in there is me using the Midnight Coup with Zen Moment. This hand cannon just feels amazing with Zen Moment. It's very easy to get those follow-up shots. The enemies in the Crucible aren't gonna be able to flinch you as much. Opening shot, I know, looks tempting for PvP, but trust me, the hand cannon just feels amazing with Zen Moment. So in this last column for PvE, I would suggest go with Kinetic Tremors, and for PvP, go with Zen Moment. So Guardians, to close this video out, what is the PvP god roll? Well, I'm gonna say go with Full Bore. I normally don't suggest Full Bore because it hurts your stability so much, but I'm gonna also suggest Zen Moment in the last column, and Zen Moment completely cancels out the negative stability that Full Bore gives you. So Full Bore's going to give you the most range, and technically it's not really going to hurt your stability when you pair it with Zen Moment. Go with Accurized Rounds for the magazine, Explosive Payload in the first column, Zen Moment in the last column. Slap on a targeting adjuster, go for a range masterwork, and this hand cannon is going to be hitting up to 34 meters with very, very little flinch. And as for the PvE god roll, I'd probably go with Hammerforged, Accurized, Explosive, and Kinetic Tremors, also with a range masterwork, and then you can slap on like a major or a minor spec for a little bit extra damage. If you guys are new here, need more Destiny 2 in your life, subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you enjoyed the content, follow me over at twitch.tv/paid to be famous, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.